We'll be right back after this short break to hear from our sponsors. Democracy works. Voting isn't just going to the polls on election day anymore. Options like early voting, mail-in voting, and ballot drop box are available to most voters and are growing in popularity. So how do you vote? A tool created by Democracy Works breaks down the options your state offers for casting a ballot, empowering you to decide when and where to vote. Democracy works best when all of us vote, but misinformation and confusion about election procedures have resulted in low voter turnout. So how do you vote? We'll use a tool created by Democracy Works and take the guesswork out of the voting process. Decide when and where you'll vote this year and go to howto.vote. That's howto.vote. And now, back to our episode.
On today's episode number 2, I'm going to share with you my 28-year weight loss journey and how I kept off 120 plus pounds over the last 28 years off of my body, and leaving you touched, moved, and inspired that you can do something that is exactly the same for you in any area of your life, whether it's your weight loss, whether it's money, whether it's relationships, and leave you living with a secret power of vision. Talk to you soon. Welcome to the Blueprint of Living an Extraordinary Life podcast. My name is Theo Tilton. I'm a licensed New Thought practitioner, public speaker, certified life mastery consultant, and development life coach. Each week, I'm on a mission to provide concrete practices in the art of being and doing and getting that physical, reliable result with a system of support, leaving you moved, inspired, and empowered on your way to living an extraordinary life. Thank you for spending time with me today. Now let's head over to the Blueprint of Living an Extraordinary Life. So let's go back. Right now it is May. It's a Sunday morning around 9 a.m., 1991. And I wake up with a massive headache, hungover from partying the entire night before. I feel completely horrible, my entire body. And I feel my heart beating in my chest and in my neck. And I have this strange tingling sensation in my face, in my hands, and my feet. And something inside of me says, I can't do this anymore. And something else inside of me said, get up, go weigh yourself. And a part of me knew that I wasn't going to like what I was going to see. I knew that I already had gained a lot of weight because I had a size 44 waist, and I was actually afraid to pull the scale out. But I knew that I really couldn't ignore it anymore, and my heart was racing as I stepped onto the scale, and then I saw the number, and tears started to run down my face. I was 337 pounds and 47.5% body fat. I was in complete shock. I jumped off the scale. I checked for brand new batteries. I replaced the batteries. I could not believe what I was seeing. I put the new batteries back in. There was no way that this could be real. I weighed myself again, and it told me the same exact information. And in that moment, something completely hijacked me.
I had a completely new shift in reality. I knew that if I did not do anything, that I was going to die an early death. A lot was really going through my mind, and the rest of that day, I spent the entire day nursing a hangover. And I knew that I needed to do something. You see, my desire in that moment completely shifted. I had this desire of being 200 pounds and below 15% body fat and below a 34-inch waist. And I was struggling. I was struggling to find who I was. I didn't find myself attractive. I had fat bulging out over my waistline everywhere. I had a triple chin. I had one of those chins where like my neck and head were kind of like the same size. It was like one continuous piece of fatty flesh. And internally I had absolutely no confidence, self-loathing, no control over food. I was completely addicted to food and pizza and hamburgers and starch and cheesesteaks. You see, I lived in Philadelphia at the time. And so cheesesteaks, my gosh, I think I had cheesesteaks. Not like, the 6-inch, but like the full-on 12-inch cheesesteaks. Probably multiple times per week. And those disco fries with the cheese and the gravy and drinking like from probably from Wednesday until Sunday. And so I had a real problem on my hands. And, the wall that I really hit was I really did not know what I was doing. I never stepped foot in a gym. I never played sports when I was in high school or in college. See, I was just a college freshman. And how was I going to do any of this? And then it was a few days later. I remember being at the bookstore, getting books, I guess, for another class. And I saw this magazine, one of these fitness bodybuilder magazines. And there was a cover of somebody with a before and after picture. And this person was morbidly obese in their before picture. And then their after picture was like this Greek god statue. And I had this like epiphany. If they can do it, if this guy can do it, so can I. And I began to get excited. I began to shift and create a plan. I started reading everything I could get my hands on about nutrition and supplements. And my plan included a few things. What it looked like was I ended up moving. I ended up getting the hell out of Philadelphia. I moved to Massachusetts for 8 months. I got a job. I joined a gym. But the conflicts that I had were also really real. How was I going to go back to school? How was I going to still maintain all the friendships that I had? The truth is, I became a brand new person. I decided what I was going to do. And I had to make some big choices. And in the end, a year later, a year went by, and I dropped 128 pounds. I weighed in at 209. I was at 15% body fat and a size 35 waist. I had completely transformed. I felt confident. I felt attractive. I had tremendous amounts of willpower. My beliefs in what I was doing were so strong. I was happy. I felt whole, and I felt complete. I began to teach others what I did and how I did it. Today is May 24th, 2020. And I'll share with you that I've kept off nearly all of that weight for 28 years. So what was the biggest secret to my success? Was it simply an exercise routine? Was it a diet or a meal plan? What I would say is the most important contributing factor really had nothing to do with the exercise routine or the diet. It was really who I was being. You see, looking back on the 28 years, the person that I am today was actually invented by me 28 years ago, when I imagined who I was going to be after seeing that before and after picture on that magazine. I created a completely new way of being. I had a vision of a future that I loved to live from a place where I was living from the vision that I was created that I simply just invented in my mind. And then from that place, I said to myself, what is that person doing? What is that person reading? What is that person believing and acting? What do they look like? What do they smell like? What do they feel like? That person is me. This is the most important tool in the spiritual toolbox. This is the biggest thing that I bring to clients when I work with clients as a coach, as a life coach. You see, you can't build towards a vision or a dream. You must come from the vision or the dream like it is already a done deal. It has already happened. And so when I created the plan of how I was going to do it, I didn't necessarily know how it was going to happen. I didn't know how I was going to be eating or what foods I was going to eat. I didn't know how or what exercises I was going to be doing and when I was going to be doing them. I simply knew that this vision that I created of myself out into the future, where I was 120 pounds lighter, 128 pounds lighter to be specific, that person was being a certain way. That person was going to the gym 4 to 5 days a week. That person that was eating certain types of foods and probably eating more frequently, smaller meals. And that person was active all of the time and wearing certain clothes and wearing certain cologne and styling their hair in a certain way. And I actually started to do those things immediately. I began to live my life in the present moment as if the vision or the dream I had already come true. And so I invite you right here, right now, whatever you're up to, whether it's a weight loss journey, whether it's a journey of creating more money, or whether it's a journey of creating a new relationship, I invite you to invent what that thing looks like out into the future.
How much weight have you lost? What is your weight size? What is your waist size or your dress size? How does your hair look? How does your skin look? How all of the attributes. And then ask yourself some questions. Living a life of that person that you've invented. What are they doing? What are they reading? How are they speaking? What questions are they asking? Where are they going on a daily basis? What gym did they join? How frequently do they go? Do they run? How frequently do they run? How long do they run? What sneakers are they wearing? Get every bit of your five senses involved. What does it sound like? What does it taste like? What does it smell like? What does it feel like to be that person in the future? But have that be something that you begin to experience it right now. Now, I will tell you one thing. The biggest hurdle to this is knowing that the current reality doesn't match. And so that's not to say that this is easy. It's simple, but it is not easy. Because when we look at ourselves in the mirror, we may not necessarily see the body of that future being. We may not necessarily feel the strength and the stamina and the endurance, or experience the flexibility and the agility of that body that's out in the future that you've invented. But I assert and I know and I guarantee that if you begin to build your life from a future that already exists and you continue to simply just practice a way of being, a way of life, you will begin to decide and make decisions of the things that you cut out of your life. Decide means to cut away from, to cut out. So when we make a decision, a choice, deciding that this is the future that I have decided, there are certain things that we may have right now in the present moment that don't come with us. Maybe there's people in our lives that we no longer have conversations with. Maybe there's words that we're currently using that we no longer use. Maybe there's relationships that we can no longer be part of. Maybe there's certain things that we do with our money that can no longer exist. We do something else. And so we start operating from a context in a future that we're living into, a vision. So if there's one thing I'm sharing with you right now, is live from this way of being that is out in the future, and you are in complete control of it, and know that there is a listening universe, that there are universal laws that take this energy, that take this vibration, that take this energetic signature that you have created that is out in the future, because you have invented it and because you are acting upon it and doing and being the being of that future, that harmonic resonance of who you're being will snap everything into order and bring forth the reality that you have invented faster than you can even imagine. This is how I lost 128 pounds in 12 months. And I've kept that weight off, the majority of that weight off. About 100 pounds of it has been kept off for the last 28 years. And today, I'm about 228 pounds, 14% body fat, and a size 34 waist. And I feel fitter and stronger and more confident than ever before. And this is also what is available to you, living from vision. So that is my story for today. Thank you so much, and chat next time on our next episode.
Thank you for joining me and listening to today's episode. I trust that there is something that you experienced on today's podcast that has left you touched, moved, and inspired. I would love to connect with you. If you're an Anchor member, you can leave me a message and leave any kind of question that I can answer on future podcasts. If you'd like to hear more about Life Mastery, Dream Builder, or other personal development programs that I coach with my clients, you can email me directly at theo@theotilton.com, and you can find me on all social media channels, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. My handle is Theo Tilton. Also, you can find me on Facebook at Theo Tilton Coaching. Thank you.